Barry Devolin is the Member of Parliament for Haliburton, Kawartha Lakes, Brock, and he is running for Speaker of the House. How are you today, sir?
Good. How are you, Stephen?
Great. So I just wanted to ask a few questions. First of all, I'd like to give you an opportunity to maybe give a 30-second to 1 minute pitch on why you're the guy to pick for Speaker.
Well, I think as many of the other challengers running for the Speaker's job would say, I'm running because I think we need to restore decorum and civility in the House. I've been here for 4 years now, and I've worked around legislatures for the past 15 years. And I think that the level of behavior in the House of Commons has deteriorated over the past few years. I don't accept the notion that this is inevitable, that the Speaker can't do anything about it. And I think that my reputation among people that know me here in Ottawa is that I'm fair-minded, that I am even-tempered, that I always show restrained partisanship, and that I feel that those are the kinds of qualities that that we need in a speaker, and that's why I put my name forward.
Okay, let's talk about that perceived partisanship. You believe that it does exist, that divisive tone in the House of Commons, perhaps leading to some unparliamentary language or behavior. Do you believe that, well, you've already stated that it does exist. How would you deal with that? What are some of your ideas to deal with that divisiveness and unparliamentary behavior?
Well, last week when I announced that I was running, I actually put out a 3-part plan of things that I think would be 3 steps in the right direction to deal with this issue. The first of that being, I think that it's not only, there are 4 people who sit in the chair. There's the Speaker, but there's the Deputy Speaker, and then there are 2 Vice Chairs of the Committees of the Whole, which is a very long title, but essentially they are junior speakers. And I have said that, first of all, I think whoever is Speaker, they need to assemble a team of 4 people, all 4 of the people who sit in the chair, that they will agree on the rules and how they're going to apply them, and to provide consistency, because being the Speaker is a little bit like being a referee in a hockey game. I think it's important that the players understand what the rules are, how they're going to be enforced, and that they're enforced consistently. I've also said that I think that a lot of members talk about what's going on in the House and that something needs to be done to restore decorum, often referencing question period. But my view is that you would actually start in what I call the periphery of the activities. Like, I think it's a new tone that needs to be established, a more respectful tone for members. I think we start doing that at the times when there only are a dozen or 15 people in the House, and you kind of move towards the center, which is question period. I think on the other hand, if a new Speaker was to arrive basically saying, there's a new sheriff in town and I'm going to go into question period and start cracking the whip, I think it could very well be disastrous. Because there are 300 people in there. It's a very difficult situation to try to instantly change into something different. So that's my proposal, and I think that I have used the analogy that the Speaker is like a referee in a hockey game, and if the Speaker or if the referee sticks the whistle in their pocket, it is only a matter of time until the players start taking liberties with one another, and it gets to the point where even the players want the referee to crack down, and that is what I think we're seeing right now. We're actually seeing the members of Parliament, the people who are going to be cracked down on, if you want to look at it from that point of view, are actually the ones that are starting to say, we need to do something, it has gone too far. And I don't think it's reasonable to expect that the Speaker who's been there for the last 7 or 8 years would be the person to do that.
Right, that's my next question. So you believe that Mr. Milliken it's time for him to move on? Well, of course you are running to be Speaker, so I would presume that's your position. And where do you think that he has failed to, in his duties, to run a good ship in Parliament?
Right. Well, I think I like Peter Milliken. And in fact, almost everybody I know likes Peter Milliken, so that's not the issue. One important part of the Speaker's job is to be an ambassador for our Parliament as well as an ambassador for Canada. I think Peter Milliken does an admirable job in that area as well. I think it's very specifically in House management. I think that is the issue. And I think a lot of people, myself included, the first question that we wrestled with was, do we want to re-elect the same Speaker, or is it time for a change? Do we actually need to, is part of the solution to put a different person in the chair? And once you cross that line, then you start looking around for alternatives. And that's the process that I went through. I have come to the conclusion that Mr. Milliken needs to be replaced in the chair. And one of the steps I have taken is to put my own name forward. And so I think it comes back to House management. As I said before, I do not accept the notion that what's going on in Parliament is somehow inevitable, that it cannot be brought to heel. My riding is fairly close to Ottawa. I have lots of school groups that come here. And quite frankly, I always try to meet with the school group when they're not in Ottawa, and I always try to meet them before they go to question period, because I actually feel I need to prepare them for what they're going to see, and explain what's going on, and in a sense make excuses ahead of time so that they're not mortified when they show up in that place. Not only the kids, but the teachers and the parents too. So that's my assessment. I think we need a new referee. I think the rules need to be more strictly enforced, and I don't think we can expect someone who's been there for 7 years to start doing things differently.
Okay, so finally, I guess suppose a self-referential question. The Speaker of the House is the ultimate authority on Parliament Hill, delegates authority of press and media issues to the Parliamentary Press Gallery. It's an unaccountable guild defined not by either Constitution or statute, but just by the authority of the Speaker. Do you believe that as Speaker you would open up Parliament Hill to new media such as bloggers, social media aspects of Facebook, Twitter, allow new players on the scene of how we've seen this evolution in media? Do you think it's time to open up Parliament to those sorts of reporters?
Well, I think the world has changed, dramatically in terms of the media in the last few years. This is a tradition-bound place, and so Parliament tends to change more slowly than other places. There's always a balance between just practically having a situation that's manageable versus one that maybe in some abstract sense is more fair but becomes unmanageable. But I would absolutely be interested to have that conversation and to ask what it means, and does this mean going from 100 people that have cards that have access? Does it mean going from 100 to 150, or does it mean going from 100 to 500? Like, just what are the practical implications that would result from a change? And if someone had a specific idea, absolutely, I would be interested to talk about. The bottom line is that it will change. The only question is whether it's going to change now or whether it'll take several more years before it gets there.
Well, I should say that we're in center block right now on the parliamentary precinct. This interview has not been approved by the Parliamentary Press Gallery, so it is technically illegal.
Well, I did not know that.
Well.
But anyway, as one of the privileges I enjoy as a member of Parliament is to have unfettered access to this place, to this building, and to unfettered access to meet with Canadians, whether they're my own constituents or whether they're other people from across the country. So. You're saying you're here as my guest as opposed to you're here as an accredited journalist.
That's right. So technically, there is sort of this gray zone where I found kind of that seam to work along. So, well, I'd like to thank you for your time today, and good luck tomorrow, and best wishes.
Okay. Well, thank you very
All
much.
right, thanks.
Thanks to your watchers and listeners and readers. I'm on your website regularly.
Well, hopefully we'll have a number of MPs checking out the pitches today.
Perfect.
Great. Talk to you later.